Hey, Adam,
Geez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sweet Talk, our weekly podcast here at Idaho State University's Continuing Education and Workforce Training. I am one of your hosts, Paul Dickey, the Video Instruction Manager and Apprenticeship Coordinator here at SWEET. And as always, joining me is our Interim Director, Raylyn Price. Raylyn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's Thursday, almost Friday.
Thursday, yes.
And I understand there might be a blizzard.
There might be a blizzard.
There might be a blizzard. Out on the blizzard. Yep.
Yeah. I'm from New England. What you call a blizzard? Nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I understand they already canceled school for School District 25 for tomorrow, which just doesn't happen very often here. So yeah.
They'll never cancel the university ever.
That's right. That's right. And with us also we have Angie. She's our marketing director, and I'm going to turn the time over to Angie to introduce our guest.
Well, before we introduce our guest, I just want to make a comment on the incoming storm. For those of you who don't know, the building we are located in has a kitchen. There's a shower for the old automotive students downstairs. So if for some reason we get snowed into our building tomorrow, we're set.
We're set.
We're set. I think there's even groceries in that kitchen.
Yeah, I believe there might be.
And there's a vending machine if all else fails.
If all else fails.
Right.
If you've been watching some of our latest podcasts, we have been doing a series to introduce the greater public to some of these student-run organizations on campus. So joining us today is Trystan Gray. He is the president of Idaho State University's Microbiology Club. So welcome, Trystan, to Sweet Talk. Can you take a minute to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously my name's Trystan. I'm a senior here at Idaho State University. I've been the president of Microbiology Club for 2 years now. When I first started at ISU, there wasn't really a presence of the Microbiology Club. Everything was kind of wishy-washy for biology in particular. So yeah, we were able to revive the club, and we've been strong for 2 years. My major is in microbiology, and after I graduate in May, I'll be headed out to Albuquerque to go to the UNM School of Medicine.
So nice.
Yeah, it'll be super exciting. Really looking forward to that. Well, yeah, that's a pretty much rough little background for me.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Well, so I got to start off. What is the Microbiology Club, and what do you do at the Microbiology Club?
All right. So the Microbiology Club is just for people that are interested in learning about microbiology, or people that might be biology majors, microbiology majors. We also, we don't keep it limited to just biology either. We have a couple members that aren't biology related at all. One of them is actually a history major. So it's kind of interesting. We get a good spread of people. And essentially, we just like to keep a really relaxed atmosphere where people can come with interests. And we have a big planning meeting at the beginning of the semester. We bring pizza and soda, and we just sit down and talk about all of our interests and kind of the activities that we'd be interested in doing for the semester. So, for example, some of the things that we've done last semester, we went and toured Jim Dandy Brewery, which was really awesome. They show us the whole process from start to finish and kind of explain how microbiology goes into brewery. We have also done like sourdough starters. So we make sourdough starters, and then we all keep up with them. And then last year we actually made a bunch of bread and brought some cheese and made some grilled cheese sandwiches as one of our meetings. So it's just kind of a bunch of fun stuff. There's not really any um, hardcore thinking involved.
Okay.
So
So
it's
so
seems
would
to
you
be a
say,
good
yeah,
place.
would you say it's a social club then, and basically you use it as a way of exploring how microbiology goes into everyday things or events?
Yeah, yeah, definitely like that. And we've also we have a lot of faculty that are involved at the club, so we've been able to provide some resources for students that might need some help or some career advice, whatever it may be. We're always here for all of our members.
So I have a question with your sourdough bread and your cheese. Did you invite the Grilled Cheese Club to come to your meeting?
So we were talking about it, which is hilarious. That was the whole reason why the idea got brought up. But all of our schedules just got really busy, and it ended up just being us for that meeting.
I
But we
got it.
definitely are thinking about doing a
Doing it
collaboration.
another one in the
Yeah.
future. That's so
Definitely.
great. That's love.
Mhm.
So everything tends to have a microbiology theme, your meetings or your events, your activities.
Yeah, for the most part. Sometimes we will just have just kind of a social event where we'll bring like pizza and soda and we'll just kind of hang out and talk. We've organized a couple guest speakers, and sometimes we'll have professors come in and kind of give a rundown of their daily life as a professor and kind of what they do for their research. So it's not always microbiology, but for the most part, I would say, yeah, it's pretty much just micro.
Okay, so are you a microbiology major?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Paul.
Do you also provide some support for the people who are in different programs? Maybe some resources about, I don't know, study plans or resources that you've come across through your career as a student and so forth?
Yeah, as best as we can. I mean, if we know somebody that can help a student with something like that, then we'll link them with the right people. For example, we've made kind of like a med school prep for med school
hmm.
kind of workflow where you can kind of see what classes are required and like the costs generally that go into an application cycle for medical school for both MD or DO programs, as
Mhm.
well as like linking up students interested in doing research. We've found a couple spots that are open on campus for people to do research in a field where they're interested in. So we've been really successful at kind of helping out all of our members with stuff like that. Of course, it's easier being all for mostly micro oriented.
So would you say most of the microbiology majors are going into medical school, or are some of them going into research? They want to be professors, where do people tend
Yeah,
to
I was wondering, what is the career
Mhm.
path?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things. Like people can use it to go to med school, veterinarian school. You can go on to do nursing programs.
Hmm.
There's different pharmaceutical aspects. So you can help design drugs or do experimental trials.
Hmm.
The research side of it, as well as the whole food industry, is really ran by microbiology, and nobody really
Sure.
thinks about it, but there's a ton that goes into that. And so, I mean, there's a lot of people that kind of oversee all these big food factories that are just micro nerds at heart, and it's great
Right.
to see.
Okay, so you bring up this interesting question, Tristan. So we live in an ag state with lots of food processing. Does industry come and are they interested in people who are in the microbiology programs?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, especially with mass production, there's a lot of scale up problems that people run into. And so microbiologists come in and they're able to kind of see how things operate and help maybe organize like a sanitary plan if they're getting contamination issues, or somebody just there to oversee kind of all the microbe side of things, because there's just a ton that goes into it. Like from the production down to the packing, there's probably going to be a microbiologist involved at some point.
That's awesome. So I have
Yeah.
another question for you. As far as your career path in medicine, do you have kind of an interest where you think that might take you with your microbiology background?
Yeah, so not necessarily microbiology, medicine, more as um I've been working with the Pocatello Free Clinic, which is a
Mm,
resource in our community for people that aren't insured, or people that are going through a hard time and stuff like that. So through working with them, I've kind of found a love of helping underserved communities, like through
mm,
primary care. I also have a lot of interests in doing like orthopedic surgery, because that's kind of what got me into medicine to begin with. Is I had a hip surgery when I was
mm.
15
Wow.
and came back a better athlete, and so it really sucked me in then, and then it's kind of snowballed into this whole career that's involved medicine. And I have a big love for biology. I initially didn't want to major in microbiology. I thought just general biology would be more my style. But after just learning all the intricacies of how life works and down to every single cell functioning absolutely perfectly to make what we know life, I just fell in love with it. And I was like,
Wow.
this is what's for
Wow.
me.
That's
I was going to ask you what gets you interested. Nah, that's already been answered. Wow.
that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. No,
So
it's crazy.
wow. So I mean, you're in your senior year, so you're finishing up, and you're going to be going to Albuquerque. Um,
Yes.
what has been the best part of going through the program?
Oh man, that's really tough. I think one of my favorite parts, specifically going through the microbiology program, is getting in and doing research.
Mm,
I talk about it a lot to all of the members that come in for all of our meetings, as well as anybody I see on campus. I'm always bringing up research. I think it's a great opportunity for you to really connect with a professor and kind of begin to see and really understand that they're just people. They're people with distinguished degrees, obviously, but at the same time, they're not some scary monster, and they can teach you a lot of things. I've had a lot of live conversations with my PI. She's actually one of the big reasons that I'm at this point and really pushed me and encouraged me to apply to medical school and go through this whole long process. So I definitely say research has been up there, as well as I really love doing all of the labs working with all these different bacteria and yeasts and different things. It's
Wow.
so fun.
that's
So
great. Oh, go
I
ahead,
have,
Angie, and then I'll.
okay, so I have a question for you. Like, what made you pick ISU for your undergraduate degree in microbiology? And then, what parts of ISU would you recommend to students that are looking to go to medical school in their future?
So I'm actually born and raised here in Pocatello. So
Oh,
that was probably the biggest reason for me sticking to ISU, was just because it was home to me and it was cheaper. Um, I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question?
oh, so what parts of the program would you recommend? Like, what did you love about the microbiology program that you feel future students or potential students may also love?
I love that they offer classes that kind of help you explore like what your career options might be in the future. So, for example, one of my favorite classes that I've taken through the microbiology major is called food microbiology, where
Mm,
we would just show up on Friday afternoons and learn some processes that use different yeasts or whatever to
Mm,
make cheeses. We've done pickling, and stuff like that. And so we just make food and eat it. It was
wow.
Wow.
one of the best classes. Yeah, and then you get credit for it. It's really great. Another great thing that I really love is I feel like the biology department, in more than most, really has an emphasis on just overall learning instead of just testing. A lot of classes just have a lot of memorization and require you to jump over all these bridges. And a lot of the biology classes are structured in a way where they'll bring in guest speakers. They'll have, instead of in class like memorization tests, they'll have worksheets that you work on at home over the course of a few days, and kind of use all of your applied knowledge that you've gained throughout the years to answer it. And so I feel like it's a little more geared towards learning rather than memorization, compared to like a chemistry or degree or something like that.
I like that. That's awesome. So as far as research, what research have you participated in, and what do you recommend when you said there's research opportunities on campus? What does that look like for students here?
So there's a ton of different research going on all over campus, down from using metals to help with cancer identifiers, to people working with frogs, fish. There's bird stuff. What I do in particular, I work in a molecular biology lab, and so we work with Plasmodium falciparum, which is malaria. So we have several different strains of multi-drug resistant malaria, and
Wow.
essentially what we're doing is we're building plasmids, which are smaller genetic material that parasites use. And so we build plasmids with fluorescent markers that we get these parasites to take up and hopefully use. And once they use them and they're expressing their different fluorescence, we can break apart their cells, separate their organelles based on which color they fluoresce, and then get all of their genomes kind of mapped out and identified. And that's kind of the first step of the project. And then eventually we're hoping to find alternative methods and alternative drug targets to help kill malaria, because it's endemic and the biggest killer of the world as far as microbe wise. And it's really scary, but the way we work with it, like, it's super safe here. We've never had any scary instances with anybody potentially being infected. People think that, if you just get some on your skin, like, you're going to get infected, and it doesn't always work like that. And the way they structure all of the research labs at ISU, it's a really safe way to dip your toes into things that might not be so safe. And so it makes it exciting, I think.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So people can learn about these research opportunities by joining the club.
Yeah, yeah. And also there's ISU has a page just for research, and sometimes they'll post research openings, or if they come to club meetings, we're pretty in tune with who is needing a research assistant in their lab, just because the biology department's really close knitted. And so if any students are interested in research, I would definitely recommend coming to our meetings. Actually, our first meeting next Friday, I believe it's the 19th. Yeah, the 19th, at 12:30 in room 271. We're just going to be having our general planning meeting social. So there's going to be some pizza, sodas, and then everybody's welcome to just come hang out.
That's,
And
you
how
said
often
the
do you-
19th at 12:30?
Yes.
And that's, I'm assuming, in the biology building.
Yep, Gale Life
271.
Science, room 270.
Oh, that's
And then how
awesome.
often do you meet?
So we meet bi-weekly, so roughly like every other week. Sometimes we'll have a gap if there's a testing or a break or whatever. We try to stay solid at least 2 meetings a month. Sometimes we might have a field trip that makes an extra meeting, but we try to at least have 2.
So if someone wanted to reach out to connect to you, Trystan, how would they do that?
So they can reach out by my email, which is just trystangray@isu.edu, or they can reach out to um, one of our faculty members, Jack Shirley, which is Jack Shirley at isu.edu, as well as our secretary, Reese Ellis, which is Reese Ellis at isu.edu.
Thank you. So at the beginning of this, you said that the microbiology club was kind of faltering, and then you came in because you wanted to revitalize it. What was your motivation?
I saw the clubs around campus, and it was at a time where it was right after COVID, and so there was a bunch of clubs that were kind of all popping up at the same time. And I recognized that the microbiology club did exist, but there were 2, maybe 3 members.
Wow.
And so, and they weren't meeting. And so I talked with Dr. Shirley, and we made a plan and kind of got things up and going again, started meetings. Luckily, since it was an established club that just kind of had been dwindling, there was already some money in our account. So we were able to just kind of get started right away, instead of having to fundraise and really scrap up from the bottom. We were pretty fortunate in that aspect, but we do have some fundraising opportunities and ideas that we're looking at for this semester.
Nice.
Well, we are actually almost out of time. We have less than a minute left to wrap up.
20 minutes
So-
does go fast.
It goes so
It does go
fast.
fast.
So I am going to reiterate a little bit about what Trystan said to reach out. You can find all of these people on ISU's website when you look at isu.edu and go to the Biology Club. If you're interested, I'm going to actually spell out one of these emails for you. Jack Shirley, that is JACKSHURLEY at isu.edu. And with that, thank you, Trystan. I'm going to turn it over to Paul to wrap us up.
Oh, Trystan, thank you so much for being on today. It was fun. Wasn't this fun, Trystan?
It was fun. I had a great time.
So if anyone's interested in our offerings, you can. Oh, Braylon, thank you so much for being here as always. And
That.
Angie, I can't do this without you. But if you're interested in our offerings, you can visit our website at cetrain.isu.edu. You can email us at cetrain@isu.edu or give us a call at 208-282-3372. And remember, if you like this podcast, this is a way we reach out to the community and inform about what we have on the university and in our community. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we do appreciate it, and be safe out there.